Every change starts with a plan. Every plan starts with a person. Whether you are planning to change your community or the world, every plan starts with people. Planning occurs at all scales. Thus, top-down and bottom-up approaches must work together for sustainable change. Although a top-down approach may seem more organized, grassroots organizations are more engaged with the people of the community.
So there's a lot of synergy between working at the higher level to develop programs and implement things that only a government can do, really, down to the grassroots level where individuals are talking to individuals and trying to influence individuals to get social change things going.
If we have three justifications for why people should be involved in decision making: normative, substantive, and instrumental. Normative, it's the right thing to do. In a democracy, people should have a right to have a say in decisions that affect them. In a substantive sense, it says that people have expertise that we want to get into the decision. They have substance to give into the decision. And the third is the idea of the instrumental, that by involving people, it can lead to better decisions that are perceived as more legitimate, decisions that can be more lasting.
In order to engage with people and make lasting change, the first step of your plan is to assess the goals of the community.
Yeah, I mean, you need to get a baseline assessment of where people are before you try to propose any interventions. Otherwise, you never know what you're doing is effective or not, or it's going the wrong direction or what.
Once you assess your goals and get a baseline, it's important to prioritize those goals based on commitment level and importance.
So it's choosing among options again, thinking about what's good and bad about things and trying to get to a better state in the final analysis. So I'm not saying I know the best way in all cases, but I think it does involve community engagement and the people you're working with. And Cornell wants to see that happen.
For students, obviously, we have a limited time that we're at Cornell. So 4 years, we want to get as much done as possible. And administrators, want to be very cautious and do things the right way. So we have kind of different priorities, I guess, sometimes, in the scale that or time frame we're operating at. But I think in terms of having lasting change and lasting impacts on campus, we really have to work together. And I think more and more students are recognizing that, as well as more administrators.
Gauge the feasibility of your priorities based on scope and availability of resources.
And the next step is essentially the parts of engineering design and economic assessment that you have to make. What will this cost? How would you finance a project? How would you actually assemble the pieces that would get us from where we are today to where we have to go? It includes regulatory issues and siting issues, policy issues, public engagement, all kinds of things that go well beyond just a simple engineering calculation.
When we talked about feasibility before this, as a group, we talked about for example, we cannot feed all of Cornell with 100% local foods because of the climate that we're living in. But that doesn't mean that we can't have progress. I would say that our priority is direction, not purity. We're not looking to bring 100% local organic food to Cornell. We're looking to increase the amount. We're looking to do as much as we can in small increments.
Once your initiatives are decided on, implement and monitor them to ensure change has actually occurred.
I mean, there's really three ways that you get people to address social problems. 3 E's. Engineering, you sort of engineer around people. You build things, you change things around people. Enforcement, so you put out laws or policies to enforce the behavior. And then the third is education, where you try to change people's minds or attitudes or behaviors. So those kind of work together, and when they're used together, they tend to have greater results.
You need validation of the models and validation of performance. And I see tremendous interest in that among the facilities group and in individual colleges as well. They want to not only say they're doing it, they want to be able to prove to the public that it is indeed happening quantitatively.
By examining Cornell University and the city of Ithaca, we've illustrated how top-down institutions and grassroots organizations utilize a top-down and bottom-up approach for sustainable planning.